If you're watching this and the big box banks have let you down and denied your mortgage, well, that just sounds like a challenge to me. My name is Ubaldo Leon, AKA Scooter, and I have been doing mortgages for 22 years. I'm the originating branch manager / owner of my own branch of Cross Country Mortgage. First thing is we're gonna talk about how we can turn that loan denial into keys in your hand. First and foremost, don't take no for an answer. It's no holds barred. You can do it if you want to do it. Secondly, we're going to talk about 3 fatal mistakes that people make when purchasing a home that cause paralysis. And thirdly, we're going to make different bullet points more clear and apparent on what makes a great lender. Let's talk about that though. Okay, first and foremost, we're gonna talk about a story. I'm gonna tell you a story, gather around. I had a client one time who was working with a lender, and my realtor told them to call me after they were denied because they quote unquote have an E2 visa. And the lender told them that they could no longer qualify for their mortgage loan because of this visa. So the client comes to me, we get the tax returns and all the things from them. And the real truth is that their tax returns, because they're self-employed, had a lot of write-offs. And they didn't qualify for any loan, whether it was FHA, VA, conventional, that was gonna fit in a cookie cutter box with those tax returns because their CPA did such a good job on writing off things so they didn't have a lot of taxes to pay. Well, when qualifying for a mortgage loan, that's what those type of lenders will look for. Now, we also have loan programs called bank statement loans where we utilize the cash flow of the client's business to help them qualify for the loan. So having understood the challenge, I was able to restructure the loan. The client qualified with flying colors. They actually could have bought a house double the size. And the reality is that lender they initially went to lied to them. The reality is that they did qualify for the loan program under conventional lending had they had the right income profile for that. There is nothing wrong with the type of visa that they had that kept them from qualifying. But that lender lied to them and told them that that was the reason because they needed an out. So if ever you feel like somebody has taken an out or that you've been declined for your loan and maybe you want to take another crack at it, give me a call. I'm happy to help figure it out, work through the issues. And if we can't do it right now, sometimes I can lay the groundwork and tell you exactly what to do step by step to get there later. So it's not a denial, it's a problem to solve. It's a challenge to accept. So let's do that. Now, we're gonna talk about 3 different fatal mistakes. I call them the 3 Fs. You're gonna get an F in mortgage buying or mortgage lending if you have any of these issues that happen to you. Number 1, fear. Fear paralyzes us whenever we're doing anything, right? Fear of the markets. What if the market crashes? We can do a million what if scenarios, right? The reality is you qualify for a home right now, but fear is keeping you from purchasing that home. Fear is keeping you from picking up the phone and realizing that you do qualify. You haven't even gotten that far yet, right? Because somebody else had an issue. Someone else had trauma that they laid out on you, and you're keeping yourself from quote unquote adulting or taking that next step. Or maybe you had a short sale or foreclosure before, and you're afraid that you won't qualify for another house. Get out of your own way. Move forward with your own challenge and accept that challenge. The second F, family. I've seen more family blow up a transaction than not. Now, I'm all one for family. I'm so close to my family. But what happens is you get parents that are maybe contributing a down payment or live in another country or live across the country from where this property is being purchased, and those parents have had their house free and clear for 20 years. Now all of a sudden their child is getting a mortgage loan and they want to chime in on all of the little nuanced things of that mortgage loan that they may not even know about because it's been 20 years since they've had a mortgage, right? But it's your parents. You want to love them and, follow their advice and do all the things that they're telling you to do. Who doesn't? I do, right? Problem is if that advice is not current and that advice is not solid and comes from a place of education, then it can get in the way of you realizing your dream. So listen to all of those around you that have an opinion with a grain of salt. Do your own research, educate yourself, and then move forward. Do not let family or even your friends and loved ones get in the way of great advice from your real estate professionals, okay? Follow their advice. They're in it every day, realizing the market cycles and understanding what's really going on. Next, finances. People say, oh, well, I don't have 20% down. Okay, where's the problem? They just don't realize because they see everything out there that says they need a large down payment. I may be ex-military, I'm a veteran. Guess what? I can put 0% down. I'm not a veteran. I don't have any affiliation with anything. Guess what? I can put 3.5% down with FHA. Or I'm a first-time home buyer. I can put 3% down. So you can do anything in between there, even 15% down without mortgage insurance. There's tons of different programs out there. Point is, you don't have to conform to that cookie cutter approach on lending. You don't have to have 20% down. And what's great about it is if you're able to purchase a home now in a market where there are sellers that are more willing to negotiate price and your requests for repairs and credits for things because the rates are high, you're gonna have a better equity position later when the rates come down and all those people step into market, compete against one another, drive the value of the property you already purchased up, and then that person that only put 3% down is now sitting at a 20% equity position because the property value went up because of all the bidding wars and they were able to take advantage of it sooner than later. So don't let finances when it comes to down payment get in your way. As long as you qualify for the loan, you have the ability to repay the loan, and you're comfortable on a monthly basis, do it. We're gonna talk a little bit about what makes a lender great. You're gonna see all kinds of things out there. You're gonna see people, oh, look at my Instagram, aren't I amazing? This is the biggest one. I've been doing this for 30 years. Yes, you've been doing it for 30 years and you close one loan per year. Don't take that as your test, right? Talk to your lender, understand their passion for you as the borrower. That's the number one thing. We can all have loan products until the cows come home. But am I gonna answer that phone in the middle of the night when you're having an anxiety attack? Because guess what? Buying a home brings the worst out in people. You're moving, you're draining your bank account, you're moving your kids if you have them, you're arguing with the spouse over furniture. There's a lot of things. And then you have all these people throwing documents at you to sign. Now, is the person passionate enough about you to answer that call in the middle of the night? Is the person passionate enough about you to help you through your counteroffers on a Saturday afternoon? That is first and foremost, but just know that what makes a lender great is not always just the bottom line on what's your rate. I had a client one time pricing me against a, let's call it a chop shop big house lender, and they were offering an eighth lower in rate. I told the client, listen, I want you to have the best. You should go for that, because I had already given her my cheapest rate. Halfway through her escrow, she called me bawling, crying. She couldn't get anybody on the phone. She was falling out of escrow, and there was literally nobody else that could save her deal. She remembered that we could close in 15 days. So rather than rub it in her face, I picked her up off the ground, dusted her off, and helped her through that transaction because of passion and caring. And to this day, she still calls me and checks in with me, and I do the same with her, and she's a client for life. And sometimes that eighth of a percent in rate doesn't mean anything. It's not worth the paper it's written on if the lender cannot close the loan for you. So it's important to get a great rate, but sometimes it isn't everything. So if you liked what you saw here, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, if you want to continue the conversation, I have a doors wide open approach to lending. So feel free to give me a call, share your experience, let me know what you need help with, and I'm happy to be there for you anytime. Thanks again. Goodbye until next time.